And welcome back inside the Ford studio here at Detroit Public TV's Riley Broadcast Center. Fred Nahat, appreciate you joining us for a special presentation of Death is Not the Answer. A little different than normal fundraising type of programming, although it is interactive. We offer you, the opportunity to support the station for our great work. But also in this space, we will have resources available via our 800 line and on our website, dptv.org, should you need resources for free for folks facing a personal crisis for themselves or with a friend or loved one. Let me once again reintroduce the panel. Joined to my left, Dr. John Greden, who leads the University of Michigan Comprehensive Center on Depression. Thank you for being with us. Gigi Columbini, who is a psychotherapist and expert in this area. Appreciate you being along with us. John Urso, parent, advocate, and someone who's deeply committed to helping others. And Rabbi Daniel Syme, once again here on the panel. Let us take a moment to talk about that last segment. And this is extremely powerful when it comes to teens. And, it could be this. When it comes to teens, a very powerful story about a suicide in the planning that didn't come off. Gigi, tell us more about that as a psychotherapist. What are the ins and outs of that? And I guess it's sort of a miracle, but, God acts in mysterious ways.
Right. So the moments that, happen in between the plan being played out and in Elisa's case, the, comma interfering, and so eating the medication that she would have taken, and then realizing for her that that's a point where she needed to take a different direction and to get help, and it became more meaningful for her. And we hear stories like that where something happened, that there was an intervention, somebody or something happened that came in between the attempt and the death. It provides opportunities for the help and for for life to take a different direction in a positive way. So,
and everything sort of is easier to see the signs in reverse. Sure. That being the case, though, one of the positive things that came out of this story is that great relationship that developed between the two of you. Talk about that. Why did it, and does it work so well?
I mean, a part of it is that I'm trusting that inside of the person they have what they need to get through their own personal crisis, and so I just have to listen. And she had to come to the point where she wanted to fight for herself, and reassuring her that she could get through the difficult times and that the darkness can pass if allowed to, and that she just had to make the choices that seemed right in the moment, that were more positive, that weren't self-destructive, but maybe different choices than your average kid, so that she could come back to center and be herself and then move forward. And she certainly has done that in a beautiful way.
And John Urso, in the work that you're doing, I guess the overriding principle is, fortunately in this case, she found someone to talk to. But when you feel like you don't have someone to talk to, how do you find that person to confide in? What is maybe what you're finding out in the work that you're doing that makes that connection that could really make a difference?
Well, I mean, the people that we identify who are survivors, we of course try and refer to people like Gigi Columbini, and there aren't a lot of these therapists that have this special skill, and hopefully there will be more that we can direct them to. But it's so very important to make sure that a parent or someone in need, an older person, is aware that there are therapists out there that can help.
Yeah. Rabbi Daniel Syme, I wonder about the faith community and what role the faith community may play in making those connections, early recognition, but maybe beyond that, that next step is connecting people for more positive outcomes.
Well, I've had the blessing of working with Gigi in training people who work with kids to be trainers themselves of those kids, to ask the tough questions of kids in pain. Are you considering suicide? You can't just ask that question unless you're ready. And one of our participants wrote us a memo just a few days after the training telling us about how he had intervened in the potential suicide of one of the kids under his wing.
Dr. John Greden, I know you approach a lot of this as a scientist at the University of Michigan, the Comprehensive Depression Center. Society is always evolving. I mentioned the telephone, but also the phenomenon of bullying. As new things happen that spur people into desperate acts, how do you keep up with that? And is there a process to begin to recognize, the signs that have always been there, but new response to new stimuli?
It's a great question for the simple reason that we know that bullying has become a variable. Before that, 20 years ago, it probably was something else. But whatever is going on, if somebody is watching their own self-esteem, their own image be shattered, nobody loves you, the world would be better off without you, those kinds of things are especially treacherous right now, and we're seeing some of those in social media. So something that can be a bonding, love, wonderful friendship, can also turn out to be a bit treacherous. And when those things happen, parents, friends, everybody needs to kind of speak up and say, what's going on? And if those are there, that means the problems have to be addressed. I'm picking up on bullying because you asked a great question, Fred. There are many others, though, and since this segment pertained a lot to adolescence, it's worth noting that the age of onset of depressions peaks between 15 and 24. So what we're talking about is for those who do have legitimate real mood disorders, that's when they start. And if we find them earlier, they're more treatable.
And that can be the tipping point. Gigi, what do you tell kids? What do you tell parents when they make you aware that I was bullied or cyber bullied in this case?
So it's about how do you not listen to the messages, the cyberbullying. The parents, I tell them that they should be on top of their kids' electronics, that they should be peeking in and making sure that their kids are safe, because it can be really scary if they're trying to manage it themselves, so that the parents can talk to them about, just because so-and-so said something doesn't mean it's true or about you, or if something happens, maybe a sexual assault or different things happen as a result of access to kids through social media, that then the parents can provide the help that's necessary. So to a degree, they need to be looking in at that. They can't just have free reign. It's not a safe environment for young people. They're having to manage too many things. And then as depression sets in, or maybe anxiety or some of the other mood disorders, it becomes volatile and scary. And the impulsivity of youth can be, a dangerous place when it comes to at-risk behaviors like suicide.
But they're always treatable.
And they are absolutely.
I want to ask John Urso, reflecting upon this, giving great advice, is there an ongoing dialogue with teens, with kids, with folks in your life or in your heart that can create more of an open environment for communication? What advice do you give for parents and kids, people of all ages, I guess, to keep the open lines of communication?
Well, I'm not a therapist. I'm an attorney, and I know my limits, but I think the most important thing that anyone can do is be sensitive and refer someone at risk in their mind to professionals like Gigi or to doctor. I just wanted to share that this film, I know personally, was shown, and a mother and her daughter had seen it, and the daughter, the next day, after talking to her, a boy, went to her mother and said, I'm worried about so-and-so. And I'm worried about the fact that it sounds as if he might do self-harm. And sure enough, there was an intervention, and this youngster was saved. So, expect a miracle in many different ways. Just be sensitive to what Rabbi Simon was talking about. Be sensitive to the fact that there are people who are struggling, and you've got to reach out and, I keep saying it, err on the side of caution.
Well, we're going to return to our film and our panelists coming up. But right now, this opportunity, if you'd like to support the station, we have a DVD of the film, of course, available for you for a contribution of support. Easy to do. Call the number on the screen. Check with our website, the $72 giving level and above. Or if you'd like it to be complemented by the companion book to the film, terrific. $96, $8 a month. That standard membership message from DPTV. But beyond that, around this program and in this space, our operators and our website are fully equipped with resources for you should you need to recommend some hotline or someone to talk to or some additional information and immediate connection for crisis and suicide prevention. Go to dptv.org or again, call that number on the screen right now. Death is Not the Answer is the special presentation of this film on public television. One more segment to come will be rejoined by a panel of experts and advocates once again. But for now, we return to the film. Death is Not the Answer right here on Public TV.